much worse. Tabitha, Toni, and some of Riverdale High's other students of color were women. The jury deliberated for all of 67 minutes and then acquitted the killers. It was one of the single most shameful and appalling events of this or any era.
What do you think, Betty? Toni, your writing is remarkable. This is the mold, but we've tried covering her both times. Betty, I heard Mamie Till give the most incredible, inspiring speech after the verdict was delivered. And I got a chance to interview people, his friends, his neighbors. And I made them a promise I would help tell his story.
This is a squirrel mill.
People, your students, need to understand the gravity of what happened so it doesn't happen again. Here, hardly. We don't have any Black teachers. We don't study or learn about Black authors.
Change, Ms. Topaz.
I mean, I like the jacket, but I've never seen this before in my life.
I've been to a lot of movie sets, so I know a good prop when I see one, and these are okay.
Okay, the other way.
All I'm doing lately is apologizing to you, Toni, but my parents say they wouldn't be able to get your story past the Blossoms, and they sponsor the nightly news, so. Well, I'm not surprised. When Emmett was murdered, nobody wanted to talk about it, and nobody wanted to hear about it. Mrs. Till publishing her son's funeral pictures for people to finally wake up. Before Emmett was buried, his mother asked for an open casket so people could see what was done to her son. How he'd been beaten, tortured, and disfigured. At home, for when they were in a newsletter. Are you sure you want to see them? I may have a different idea. Nobody wanted to see these pictures, and Featherhead and the Blossoms don't want anybody to read my article, fine. But what about a poem about Emmett Till in the morning announcements? Look, I don't know her well, but she's gonna make up for her parents' cowardice. You wanna help me with an ambush? Cheryl, can we talk to you for a second?
What can I do for you, Toni?
Silenced my article on Emmett Till's murder trial, but you can fix it. Not an article, something else.
For?
We'll take care of Featherhead. All you have to do is let us borrow your soapbox for a few minutes. Some of you may have heard what's happening in Mississippi right now. How a 14-year-old boy, Emmett Till. So instead, I'm gonna read you a poem that the great American, hear his words and reflect on them. And
Back the girls were certain to get.
I did feel sick. Then I felt better.
Can't read poems during the morning announcement.
greatest living authors.
This is the first I've heard of any such rule, but I assure you, moving forward, all poems will be submitted for your approval.
He was younger than all of us in this room.
Taken out of his home in the middle of the night.
If you're comfortable sharing your experience.
Fitfully, but also necessarily. A conversation that might not have happened for decades began at Riverdale High that afternoon.